big save Dave. He was not the other day against the Rangers. I wasn't able to watch the game live. I was playing floorball. But as I tune into the score, not only do I see that they're losing 2-1, then I'm looking at the shot counter going, what the hell is happening? They're doubling up the Rangers in shots. And then you look at the roster, and it's not like it's Benajad, it's not Panarin. You know, there's the big guys, a few of them, but mainly rookies, whereas we have a really good roster. Like, how are we losing at this point? And then you go back and watch, and you're like, Big Dave Save was not around on this day. What the hell happened, man?
Big Dave Save.
Big Dave Save. Please, Big Dave, make a goddamn save.
I like that you said it that way.
It wasn't like he just wasn't there. And that could be a problem. We've seen that before. Marcus Hogberg at the Hogberg, whatever the way you want to say it. He had a problem at the end of the year. He was a problem for the New York Islanders at the end of the year.
Yeah, he let in Ridditch, that is, the other night. 3 goals on only 19 shots. So .842 save percentage in that one. I thought looked better in his first look in the preseason after giving up a bad goal. Kind of settled in and was fine after that. But this is definitely going to be a story because we've been used to, for years now, the Sorokin and Varlamov duo for, I mean, what, since 2020, Mitch? That's a long time now, multiple years in a row of that being the duo. And initially, you know, Varlamov was the starter, and then it eventually got over to Sorokin. But Varlamov's hurt, skating on his own. No idea when he's going to rejoin the team. I'm not really all that optimistic about it. So in comes David Ridditch, and it's been a mixed bag this preseason. Again, like I said, I thought his first appearance was okay. And then this one, obviously, a little bit more on the frustrating side. And, you know, that's kind of been the story of his career. His career is 904-279, which for a backup goalie, I feel like is fine. But he's a really high variance player. Last year, 886 save percentage, 284 goals against. The year before, 921, 215 goals against. Like, was a stud 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Stunk last year and was on the same team in the Kings, who last year, it's not like they were a bad team. They finished with 105 points. The year prior, 99 points, and were a playoff team. So, like, not a drastic difference in, like, hey, I went from one of the best teams in the league to one of the worst teams in the league. That would impact some goalie stats like that. So I don't know. I think it's going to be, you might see some games where he looks fine, and then you're going to get some clunkers mixed in too.
Yeah, no, that's, and I get it. Like we've said multiple times, like, we don't really care what happens at the end of the season, but you don't want to lose games for no good reason. Like, if it's just because the other team is better than you, then, you know, whatever. But, like, if your backup goalie can't be in there and give you, I don't know, replacement level goaltending at the NHL level, that's problematic. The way I look at it is, as you were describing David Ridditch's, like, career year over year, I'm going, that sounds an awful lot like late career Jason Chimera, right? Like, right before he came to us, 20 goal season, 20 point season, 20 goal season, 20 point, like, up and down kind of thing at the end of his career, specifically just before he came to us, right? He had that 1 year, god awful, but he had scored 20 goals the year prior. It's just up and down like that. And that's kind of what we're seeing here with Ridditch in terms of his stats. It's, what are we going to get from him when we see him? He was bad last year on a good Kings team, good defensively, which is probably going to be our biggest weakness going into the year. Although we'll talk about offense at one point here. If he doesn't have a good defensive system in front of him, he could very well be a liability. Any goalie can, but he's just not proven to be able to surmount a bad defensive system.
No, and I think, you know, we've been so used to, for a long time, the Islanders having good goalie duos, like Halak and Greiss and Leonard, Greiss and Varlamov and Sorokin. Like, they've gone on a run since the, what, I guess, Chris Gibson days is maybe the last time where it wasn't so hot at the end of 2017-18. But this might be an issue for them. And I guess my positive spin on it is he's not someone who's going to be in the lineup every single night, but you're still going to
Right.
need him for 20 to 25 games, more than likely.
Yeah. And maybe this is a positive spin for the, I'm not going to call them tankers because I don't think there's anyone here who's saying we should tank and we're actually going to tank. I'm sure everyone would love to get their hands on Gavin McKenna. I just don't see
Of
that
course.
happening. And then if you're part of that camp, it's totally fine. It's just this would be a positive for you then because Ridditch is probably going to give you a couple of wins or losses, I guess, that are going to be good for your end goal. Maybe not as good for most of our end goals. It is telling, as you were speaking, like we always had like a baton passing, right?
Mhm.
You went from like Grice over to Varley over to Sorokin, and now they're both there. Now the baton is effectively being passed because, as you mentioned, Varlamov isn't really being playing anymore. He might not ever play again, although he is skating, so he's close, I guess. Um, but you want someone to come in and not take over for Sorokin, but at least take over to be like that backup guy. You don't want to have a revolving cast of guys because you never know what you're going to get. And we seem to be at that point where we're getting the baton is looking to be passed, but whoever's going to grab it is going to fumble it, and that's going to be problematic for us.
Yeah. No, it definitely is something that I think we should be concerned about. They don't, there's no really better option though. It's not like Hogberg looked really bad in the preseason and ended the season so poorly last year. He's not a
Yeah.
realistic option. Tristan Lennox does not look good at all. So there's no one really yet in the system. Although I know the Islanders drafted a couple goalies, what was it, 2 years ago? But I don't know if either of them are options anytime soon.
No, Gidloff and Gamson are still like Gamson's still playing for CSK and he's doing okay. Gidloff started the season well. It kind of dipped. He had a 920 save percentage just yesterday, so kind of going back up again. Like it's goalies, you never exactly. There's no linear trajectory there. But if any one of them is going to have any promise, it's going to be Marcus Gidloff. Um, we'll see if it goes anywhere. Just a shaky start to the season for him.
Yeah, and he's still really young. I mean, he just
Yes,
turned 20 years old. So and he plays in Sweden too.
that's
So
right.
when is he going to come over? Thing like that's going to be a part of the conversation. And I think that's still a couple of years away at this point. So it's probably something the Islanders are just going to have to suck up and deal with.
Mhm.
And I think it's part of the reason why I'm not really picking them to be a playoff team this year. I think depth in certain areas are an issue for this team, and goalie is one of them. They have Sorokin, who I think is
Mhm.
still a good goalie. I think
Yes.
he's a top 10 goalie in the league, but they don't have that guy that they could turn to like they've had many times over the past 10 years or so, where you go, okay, like this guy is, at best a 1B or, a serviceable to good backup. They don't have that right now.